Ladies and gentlemen, you are standing on the site of Memphis, the first capital of ancient Egypt. The reconstruction of this wall was started 6 years ago. Behind it, you see the step pyramid of Saqqara, the tomb of King Joseph. This is the oldest structure known to man. It is nearly 5,000 years old. Now, if you will please follow me, I will show you the main entrance of the temple.
Are you sure that's Mr. Brandon?
Oh, yes, Mark Brandon, Mudir, boss.
Wait for me in the carriage, please.
All right.
Hey, into Maptakush. Get into Aya. Get Gamet.
Mr. Brandon!
Oa. Get Gamet. Yalla. Oa into Aya.
Mr. Brandon!
Yalla. Yalla. Nagal into Aya.
Mudir. Mudir, a lady to see you.
Tell her to wait in my cabin.
But she's not that kind of a lady, sir.
Boys say you found something.
ابدا يا جناب المدير، دول بيكذبوا.
انت متأكد؟
طبعا متأكد. والله العظيم ما خدت حاجة، دول هم كدابين، مش حاجة خالص، هم كدابين والله.
You want to see me?
Oh, I'm in no hurry. If you'd rather complete the job and kill the man, I can wait.
You saw what he was trying to get away with.
I've been on digs where the problem was handled somewhat differently.
Really? Tell me about them, won't you?
Gladly. They were my father's digs. You may have heard of him, Dr. James Barclay.
Yes, of course. He was the greatest. Look, about what happened. Whenever one of the men digs up an antiquity, everybody in his squad gets a bonus. He was not only robbing us, but he was...
Mr. Brandon, is there somewhere we could be alone?
Yeah, sure. Abdullah, take over.
Yet, Mudir.
Well, I must say this is the first time a woman ever came up here to talk to me. Drink?
No, thank you. Mr. Brandon, my father was a very religious man.
You don't mind if I have a drink, do you?
No, of course not. Father's one ambition was to find confirmation of the biblical stories here in Egypt. You and the rest of them laughed at him. But last year when he died, he was on the verge of discovering tangible proof. He was on the track of a tomb with evidence in it that the Old Testament account of Joseph in Egypt was literally true.
He never gave up, did he?
No, and neither have I. I'm here to finish his work. I'm going to prove he was right.
Why? Because you're religious or just stubborn?
Mr. Brandon, I have something here I think you're going to be very interested in. 18th dynasty, Mr. Brandon. Solid gold, it's been tested.
This came from a tomb that's already been opened.
The tomb of the pharaoh who ruled when Joseph was in Egypt. Someone's made the find of the century, and he's not an archaeologist.
Grave robbers, huh?
Yes.
Badin. Where'd you get this?
Father bought it in London. And then he found that several other objects from the same tomb turned up in antique shops on the continent.
You won't find any reference to Joseph in the tomb this came from. That's a cartouche of the pharaoh Rahotep. He ruled centuries after Joseph.
That's the accepted theory, I know. My father didn't agree with it.
He could be wrong, even if you don't think so. There's been a lot of digging in Egypt for a lot of years. Not one scrap of evidence to prove a single statement from the Bible.
I'm sorry you're not interested, Mr. Brandon. The director of antiquities thought you might be.
It would take weeks of research, maybe months.
Not necessarily. There's a much more direct approach.
Oh, I could direct approach.
If we can find out who's smuggling these things out of Egypt, we can have them trailed and learn where the tomb is.
How do you figure to find the smugglers? Put an ad in the paper?
Suppose someone went the rounds of the shops in Cairo. and pretended to be a wealthy antiquarian looking for objects from the tomb of Rahotep.
I couldn't do that. They know me too well.
They don't know me, but I don't dare try it alone. Won't you help, Mr. Brandon? I'll be eternally grateful.
It's just one thing. I don't like to start something I don't know I can finish.
I've heard of your reputation.
All of it?
Enough. When do we start?
I've already started.
I'll wait outside while you dress. Well, that didn't take long.
Make a round of the antique shops, and we'll have dinner together. I want to explore the possibilities very thoroughly.
Wonderful. I'm so anxious to have you talk to my husband.
Your husband?
Yes, he gets in tonight from Alexandria. We arrived there yesterday from England. He had to stay over to look after some business interests.
Might have mentioned your husband before.
I might have. But then perhaps you wouldn't have come. You see, I have heard of your reputation. Let's go, Mustafa.
Welcome. Valentine Arco, madame, at your service.
How do you do? Do you have any authentic funerary objects?
Authentic? Everything in here is authentic. It is well known, madame, that my collection is second only to the Cairo Museum. You have something definite in mind? Jewelry, perhaps. This belonged to Cleopatra. What I'm asking is a fraction of its value.
I'm interested only in objects from the tomb of Rahotep.
Rahotep? I have here a list of all the royal tombs so far discovered. I do not believe it is among them.
Must you be so technical, Mr. Arco? I'm prepared to spend a great deal of money.
Please be seated, madame. May I offer you something? Coffee, tea, a wine?
Nothing, thanks, except what I asked for.
You must understand, I deal only in legal antiquities.
Goodbye, Mr. Arco.
One moment, please. I have many sources of supply. Let us talk about it.
All right, then, let's talk about it. What can you get for me?
You realize, of course, there are heavy penalties for selling stolen objects.
You wouldn't have to sell them to me, Mr. Arco. You could give them to me. I'd be most appreciative.
How appreciative?
When it comes to repaying a kindness, I'm very generous. I'm at the Mina House Hotel. Mrs. Philip Mercedes. Good day.
Good day, madame. Ahmed, what an amazing coincidence. I was on my way to see you.
I thought I'd save you the trouble.
How did you know?
I saw the lady come in here. I know what she wants. You thought perhaps I could get it?
Can you, Hamid? She will pay whatever is asked.
Stupid fool. She's already been to the director of antiquities, trying to track down a statuette bought in London. Tell her something here and we'll all go to jail. Those of us who are still alive.
Hamid, I didn't know.
Now you do.
Extraordinary. Until this day, I never heard the name Rahotep. Now, in the space of 20 minutes, 2 people are asking for objects from his tomb.
Who was the other person?
A gentleman. He was going from shop to shop. From here, he went across the street. Oh, that is the carriage he came in.
Thank you. Mark, we have to find out who's in that carriage. Go quickly, Mustafa.
اسمع بسرعة.
Besora, Besora.
على اليمين الشارع ده. انت عامل ايه يا راجل؟ وقفوا الجسر مفتوح. واقف الجسر مفتوح يا اربع. بس بقى ما يعرفش يسوق العربية. شوف.
The bridge is opening up.
Philip!
Anne!
What happened? I thought you said you were arriving on the evening train.
Oh, I'd learned what it meant to be separated from you. I was packed and ready to leave by dawn. Darling.
This is Mr. Brandon, my husband, Mr. Mercedes.
I guess that.
How do you do?
How are you?
Won't you have a drink with us?
A tall one.
Good.
I asked Mr. Brandon to come here and look at Father's notes. We've no time to lose. We've just discovered someone else is interested in Rahotep.
Oh? Do you know who it is?
No, but we came close to finding out. We followed a man in a carriage. We were just about to overtake him when, as luck would have it...
The bridge opened up. I didn't know who was chasing me. And all I could think of was grave robbers.
Oh, no, Philip. You were in the other carriage.
Yes, I wasn't going to tell you. I didn't want you to worry. I'd gone to some antique shop, hoping to surprise you with a tangible clue.
You surprised us, all right.
A sherry flip for me, ma'am.
Oh, no, nothing.
No, how about you, Mr. Brandon?
Ryan, water, please.
I thought you were an American, Mr. Brandon.
What are you, Mr. Mercedes?
My father was half Spanish, my mother was Italian, and I was born on a French ship.
It is rather confusing.
I think it's very romantic.
Well, if you'll excuse me, do you mind, Philip? I'd like to go upstairs and freshen up.
Certainly, dear.
Give you two time to get acquainted.
Nothing I'd like better. You ever been to the States, Mr. Mercedes?
Oh, many times. I've spent my life mousing about in odd corners of the world, looking for tempting morsels for the American market. Paintings, curios, native art.
Just about everything, huh?
Just about.
Egyptian antiquities?
Oh, no, I know nothing about them.
Well, then it might interest you to know that if you find a tomb, the stuff might be worth £5 million.
Really? I had no idea.
But the Egyptian government will keep half, and according to Dr. Barclay's franchise...
The Cambridge Museum gets the other half. There's not a penny in this for me. Is that what you're trying to get across?
That's about it.
It just happens, Mr. Brandon, that several months ago I married a girl whose heart is set on completing the work started by her father. That has therefore become my chief aim in life.
Well, here's luck to you. May you be the first man in history to give your bride a tomb for a present.
Thank you.
Don't mention it.
Father always used to time our visits to Cairo so we'd arrive at the full moon. And then we'd come up here the first night. We'd spend hours and hours just walking around. He said it was his way of getting in tune with the past.
She was very close to her father. Her mother died when she was a small child, and from then on, well, when other children were learning the alphabet, she was out on digs, studying hieroglyphics. She thinks of it as sort of a sacred obligation.
Look, Philip, you've made your point. I know how much it means to her, and I've been trying to tell you all evening I'm willing to help. It's just that I don't know where to start.
I can see you do not remember me. I am Father Antimos from St. Catherine's Monastery at Sinai.
I'm delighted to see you again, Father Anthemos. This is my husband, Mr. Mercedes.
How do you do, Father?
How do you do? And congratulations.
Thank you, Father.
And this is Mr. Brandon.
How do you do?
I am most pleased to meet you. They told me at the hotel you were out here. And since I am leaving tomorrow, I did not want to lose the opportunity of expressing to you the deep grief we all felt upon hearing of your father's death last year.
It was very kind of you to come, Father.
We were looking forward so eagerly to his visit.
Anne, you didn't tell me your father had planned on going to St. Catherine's.
I didn't know.
Yes, he wrote us just before he died. Perhaps you will come along with me tomorrow. All of you, if you like.
Well, I'm afraid that won't be possible.
I am going to follow the same route to Sinai which Moses took in the Exodus from Egypt. One minor deviation. We plan to cross the Red Sea by boat instead of asking it to open up for us.
It sounds fascinating, but unfortunately...
And Sinai's quite a jaunt. Train, boat, 4 days on a camel. Since your father was coming here for only one reason, he must have expected to find some lead at Sinai.
Well, if you think it's worth following up,
we don't have anything else to follow up.
My intuition tells me you'll be having a busy time of it if you are going to be ready by dawn.
By dawn? Where do you leave from?
The Mena House Hotel.
I'd better see about a leave of absence. Good night, Father. Nice to know you.
Good night, Father. See you tomorrow.
Good night.
Good night, Father.
We'll be landing soon. Better get ready.
Yes.
Oh, wait, Philip. One more song.
You stay here, my dear. I'll get our things together.
Thanks.
Getting ready to unload. Hey, Hasebata!
I must say, I've never known an archaeologist like you.
I've never known an archaeologist's daughter like you.
How did you get into the field? The director of antiquities told me you started out as an engineer.
Engineer? That's a fancy word for it. I was a sand hog.
A what?
Sand hog, a ditch digger. Worked my way up from little ditches back in the States to a big ditch over here called the Suez Canal.
And then?
I was in Cairo one day on the prowl for a way to blow a month's pay. Followed a girl in the museum. That's the way it started.
She was an archaeologist?
I never found out. The first thing I saw was a solid gold chariot that must have weighed 1,000 pounds. Antique jewelry by the bushel. Things I didn't even know the name of. But they looked worth digging for to me. So I started studying archaeology to find out where to dig. I'd have been the best educated grave robber in the business if it hadn't been for your father.
My father?
He was teaching at the university. Taught me that archaeology isn't just a treasure hunt. Made me realize that every time you dig up something from the past, you give more meaning to the present. Suddenly, the whole thing came to life.
Now I understand. I knew there had to be a reason you were going to all this trouble for me.
Yeah, there had to be a reason.
Philip, look.
I've always been a pretty good sailor, but I never had a trip as rough as this one.
You'll get used to it after a while.
That arrogant monster kept turning around and laughing at me all the time.
Don't let that bother you. Just laugh right back.
Mr. Brandon, you will be interested to know that you are making camp at a most historic spot. This, Anne, is the spring of Moses, where the prophet miraculously found water. That is, I think it is. Mr. Brandon is skeptical.
I have a weakness for facts.
In my philosophy, faith takes up where facts leave off.
I respect your philosophy, Father, but I happen to be a scientist.
And an American. There's a great deal I admire about your country, Mark, but I'm afraid in all the hustle and bustle, the spiritual has been somewhat neglected.
When were you in the States last?
Me? Oh, it's been years.
That makes you an expert. Come on, Father.
I don't know, something. There it is.
Mark.
It was a scorpion. Poisonous, but seldom fatal. Give me your first aid kit. Let's take a look at this. Lean back. Now, leave that for a minute. You'll have to cut, Philip. Take a deep breath. Hold it. There's a bottle of whiskey in my tent. Get it.
Well, Doctor, was operation a success?
Will be if you stay off of this for a week. Stay here with Ann. I'll go ahead with Father Anthimos.
No, Mark. This is too important to Anne. I wanted to be in on every move.
Okay, it's your camel ride.
You didn't by any chance cut any deeper than you had to.
Oh, the knife might have slipped a little.
You don't like me much, do you?
Not much.
Are you all right?
Fine. Fine. I'll buy you a drink sometime. Thanks for keeping an eye on me.
One thing you can be sure of, Philip. I'll keep an eye on you.
And the Lord came down upon Mount Sinai, on the top of the mount. And the Lord called Moses up to the top of the mount. And Moses went up. And God spake all these words, saying, I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. It is most inspiring to live one's life in the shadow of the mount where the Ten Commandments were handed down.
It seems so right to find confirmation of the biblical stories here at Mount Sinai.
Cling to your faith, my child. It is the key to all doors.
Paternilos! Halos od aidate! Paternilos!
Palaci, pater antime! Vera!
For 12 centuries, we have been talking about putting in a door. We'll get around to it any century now.
I like it this way. Last time I was here, I insisted on going in twice.
3 times, as I remember. There is room for 2.
Philip?
No, you go ahead, Mark. Let the old man rest his weary bones a moment.
Paternilos!
Vera!
How long have you known Philip?
About a year. Why?
I just wondered. Careful, Father.
Think hard, Father. What a magnificent goal. To find the tomb of the first ruler on the face of the earth who believed in one God.
I wish I could help you, but I'm positive Dr. Barkley never mentioned Rahotep.
I'm terribly sorry, Mark. I've taken up so much of your time and kept you from your work.
Now, forget it. There's nothing I like better than a good camel ride.
I can think of a number of philosophic observations designed to uplift the spirits, but I dare say a glass of wine would be more effective. We're very proud of our date wine. I doubt if you've ever tasted anything quite like it. Ah, but you had some last time you were here, remember?
Yes, I'd fainted. And the next thing I knew, Father was giving me a sip of wine. Where had we been? It was like a dungeon, pitch black.
The charnel house, the final resting place of all the monks who've died at St. Catherine's. Dr. Barkley found it most interesting. Would you like to see it later?
I'd like to see it now.
Come along. I'll get the key.
You better rest that leg.
All right, Doctor.
I hope you are not going to faint again.
I'll try not to. It's nice to know the date wine is handy.
St. Stephanos. Our records tell us little except he lived here in the 7th century. I've often wondered if there is any mention of St. Stephanos in the clay tablets. Perhaps you can tell us, Mr. Brandon.
No, this is cuneiform. That goes back a lot farther than the 7th century.
Now I remember. That's when I fainted. I saw Father standing there, just like that, reading a tablet.
This is the start of a letter to Rahotep. To the mighty ruler of the earth, Rahotep, from his humble servant, King. That's all there is.
Is it dated?
No. Any more of these around here?
That chest is full of them.
Did Father come back here after I'd fainted?
No.
Then he never read them. He wasn't interested in Rahotep until he bought the statuette. Then he must have realized the evidence he needed was here in this chest. You were right, Mark. He was looking for a lead here.
These are all letters to Rahotep. This one's dated. It definitely puts him in the 18th dynasty.
When Joseph was in Egypt.
Maybe. One thing I'm sure of. 18th dynasty pharaohs were always buried in the Valley of the Kings. There'll be no trouble finding this tomb. It's already been opened. There'll be signs of recent digging.
Did you find anything?
Yes, Philip, yes. We know where it is. It's in the Valley of the Kings. Mark, look. He's been digging here.
Ah, this is all part of the old Evans dig, Ann. Shows here on the map. 3 feet down, they ran into bedrock.
I know the tombs were always close to the cliffs, but isn't there a possibility this one was further out in the flat?
Not a chance. Come on, we're not even halfway around yet.
There's no point in staying over in Luxor. We may as well take the night train back to Cairo.
You don't suppose he saw something he's keeping to himself, do you?
Philip.
Well, after all, we don't know very much about him.
He's been digging up antiquities for years. If he had any intention of stealing
Maybe
them.
he just wants to steal the credit. Maybe he'd like the glory instead of seeing it go to your father.
What's the matter? Have a little spat?
Yes, if you must know. Not that it's any concern of yours.
Look, he has to take it from you. He's married to you. I'm not.
I'm sorry, Mark.
Don't let it get you down. We're not through yet. What you're looking for could take a lifetime to find and still be worth it.
Thanks, Mark. Thanks for cheering me up.
Just don't make me do it again. I'm a man of few virtues, and patience isn't one of them.
Come in. Yes.
A gentleman sent me to bring you to him, Mrs. Mercedes.
A gentleman? Who?
I do not know his name. He said what you are looking for, he can help you find.
Why can't he come here?
He did not say. And you must come alone.
I'm honored, madame. Please, come in. Sit down. The wine is delicious. Would you care to have a glass?
I prefer you get directly to the point, Mr. Arco.
Very well. Yesterday, I stumbled on information that will lead to the tomb of Rahotep. Are you interested?
Why don't you use it yourself?
I value my life too highly. You can get protection from the police. Remembering that you said you'd be most appreciative, I went to the Mina House Hotel and learned you were here in Luxor.
How much do you want?
500 pounds.
500 pounds?
I have a check made out. That is your bank, isn't it?
You're remarkably well informed, Mr. Arco.
Make up your mind. Sign it or go. Quickly. Some years ago, a man named Campos came to Egypt. He was penniless, a beggar. Then suddenly, overnight, fabulous wealth. There was talk he was smuggling objects from the tomb of Rahotep. Naturally, I know this only from hearsay, since I deal only in legal antiquities.
You can leave out the details. Where is he now?
Dead? Murdered several years ago. But yesterday, I learned the name of the guide who took him where he found the tomb. Salah. Ahmed Salah, a nomad.
A nomad? Well, where can I find him?
Desert people in his region go frequently for supplies to the town of El Tabur. It is southwest of Luxor. You will find it on the map. Ahmed Salah, El Tabur. Good luck.
Who did the police protect me from, Mr. Arco?
You know as well as I that things are still being shipped out of Egypt.
And not by Ahmed Salah?
No, by someone else.
Who?
I don't know.
Is he here in Luxor, Mr. Arco? The man who murdered Campos and who will murder you if he ever finds out you sold me this information.
I told you everything I know, everything.
But you'd have nothing to fear if you were in the hands of the police. Think it over, Mr. Arco.
That day you were in my shop. A man came in just after you left. A tall man with a beard, carried a staff. Did you see him?
No, I didn't.
His name is Hamed. Hamed Bashkur. He might possibly be staying at your hotel.
Thank you, Mr. Arco.
Not at all.
We must get started tomorrow.
But it will take time to find camel boys willing to go to El Tabur. There are many unfriendly tribes on the way.
We'll pay double for the camel boys and 20 pounds extra for you if we can leave in the morning.
I will do my best. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Ahmed, what if...
Nothing cheap about me when I'm spending your money. Was that deal all right?
Of course, Mark. But I still think
And we've been over this a dozen times.
But why travel 5 days in the hope of finding a clue when the grave robber may be right here in Luxor?
But suppose we do find this Hamed, whatever his name is. How do we get anything out of him?
The police have ways.
We have no proof. He'll go free and clean out the tomb as fast as he can.
Well, since you both agree.
Valentine. Valentine. I told you not to see the foreign lady.
I haven't seen her. I've done nothing, Hamed. Nothing.
Does she still want objects from the tomb of Rahotep?
I don't know, Hamed. I swear it.
I have one for you, Valentine. You've done me a great service to tell me this jackal was in Luxor.
I've done myself a service, too.
Yes, you've proven that I can trust you. You can't blame me for being suspicious.
Not at all. A perfect stranger tracked you down in the middle of the night, anybody.
Well, we're not strangers now. We are partners. I give you the deal you've asked for. I supply the goods, you get them to Europe, and 10% of what it sells for is yours.
That was the deal. Till I witnessed this cold-blooded murder. which the police will be most curious about. I want half of everything that's in the tomb. This is quicker and a bit more certain than a knife. The dagger, please. How long will it take to get the stuff out of the tomb?
I don't know. A week, perhaps, if nobody follows us.
Nobody will follow us. I'll see to that.
انت هناك يلا امشي.
انت يا ولد ما توقفش.
يلا.
هلا بعد الجبل حطوا منك. حوش الجمال لا تطول منك حوش. حوش الجمال لا تطول منك.
They say Egypt is like a man without a woman.
Why do they say that?
Hot by day, cold by night.
That could apply just as well to a woman without a man.
I wouldn't know about that.
فيا شفتهم بينيني كانوا راكبين جمال عالية كده عالية كده.
What happened? What were those shots?
Saw some men outside the camp and fired at them. Veiled men on giant camels.
Tuaregs.
That's a tribe that was driven out of Algeria by the French Foreign Legion. Outlaw bands have been raiding caravans, but I've never heard of any this far east. Have you?
Never. Must have been an ordinary caravan.
I'd just as soon not wait around and ask him. Let's go back to Luxor.
If they're Tuaregs, they'll keep track of us no matter which way we go.
Then I say let's go ahead.
Anne.
What do you think, Mark?
Same as you, Mudir. Can I have one of your rifles?
Yes, sir.
سبحان ربي الأعلى سبحان ربي الأعلى سبحان ربي الأعلى.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد.
سبحان ربي العظيم سبحان ربي
غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين.
الله
غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. آمين. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الله أحد الله أكبر.
Never heard of any ruins out here. Wonder if they could have been covered over by sand.
Try to get to those ruins! Harga! Harga!
And hang on to the water cattle.
We'll have to stay here till morning.
But Philip's out there. He may be hurt.
We'd never find him at night. Guide. We passed a ravine yesterday, a couple of miles back. Anybody who got there would be all right. The only place anywhere around here is El Tabor. They may have started for there last night after the storm ended. listen to me. And open your eyes. Now get up. You're going to. You talked a lot about your father's faith. What's happened to yours?
الله يجي هنا.
Salamu alaikum, ya Sidna al-Sheikh.
You can speak English. In my youth, I spent some time in Cairo, learning the ways of civilization.
Our caravan was caught in a sandstorm. We were on our way to El Tabor looking for a nomad named Ahmed Salah.
Yes, so I've been told.
Will you sell us food and water?
We'll pay whatever you ask.
What did you want of this nomad?
We heard that he was an expert guide. I'm an archaeologist.
Do you know him?
No.
That is a point in your favor. He has known many archaeologists and has a low opinion of them all. This is the man you have been looking for, Ahmed Salah. He did not always wear a veil. Like me, Ahmed Salah had a taste of civilization. He went to Luxor and became a guide. There was a man named Campus, an archaeologist like you. With Ahmed's help, he found the treasures of a pharaoh. Show them how Campus rewarded you.
No.
None of our people will see you, Ahmed. Show them.
No, no.
Campus was afraid his guide would talk and try to silence him forever. But Ahmed Salah lived, and it was a bitter disappointment. He never got his chance to even the score. Someone else murdered Campus. Perhaps another archaeologist.
No, another pirate, like Campus.
All who plunder graves are pirates. It is a sacrilege.
We're not looking for plunder. We hope to find a tomb with evidence that confirms our Bible.
That should mean as much to you as to us. Your Quran accepts a lot that's in our Bible.
Our prophets are yours.
Don't listen to them. They speak with a crooked tongue.
But if they are telling the truth, we will serve Allah by helping them.
They lie. They are looking for gold.
Perhaps you're right. Perhaps not. Come. We will find out. desert people live by the sword. It is our defense, our sport, and our law. When a man is accused of a crime, the sword is the judge. If the accused is victorious, that means he is innocent. If he loses, that means he is guilty. Allah decides. Mercy! Mercy! Holcomb! Ismaili! Ento! Dibusila huna! You have been accused of lying. You will face your accuser according to our custom.
At least let us fight with something we both know how to use. Pistols, daggers, hands.
Your civilization did not change its ways for me and Ahmed Salah. We will not change ours for you.
Thought I'd find out what the girl in the back room wants to drink. Not that you have much choice, it's all they've got. I think it's made out of fermented goat. Our blood brother, the chief, stirred it up himself. I've had just about enough of this goat to ask you a few questions. Who was the first man who came along after your father died? Philip? Is that why...
This is where I took Campos. Exactly where he found the tomb, I do not know. He left our camp each morning and searched alone.
There's never been a tomb discovered this far up the Nile, has there?
Not within hundreds of miles.
It is near here. And now I must leave you. There is a camel corps outpost in the next village where you can get a boat to take you down to Luxor.
We're grateful to you, Ahmed Saleh.
Fi amanillah.
Ma-salama. Well, we might as well have a look. This. Cartouche of Rahotep. Stuff's here, all right. Looks like somebody's been taking it out in a hurry. Maybe Campos didn't find a tomb. Maybe he found stuff stolen from a tomb and sold it away here.
But why would anyone pick this for a hiding place? In the tourist season, people come here in droves.
Yeah, but in the old days, Abu Simbel was the sacred shrine, guarded day and night by priests. The grave robber couldn't have found a safer spot.
An ancient grave robber.
Working with corrupt priests, they almost always did.
But Mark, someone may still be in there.
Might be a loose stone or a false wall up higher than we could reach.
Or perhaps that's all there was.
Wait a minute. Look, between the statues. Fell from up there. Come on. Just in case company drops in.
Are you sure it's strong enough?
It'd even hold the prior.
I'm afraid the cupboard's bare, but you'll have plenty of time to mouse about for yourself. Would you mind stepping back? Thank you. My colleague, whom you no doubt met on the way down, was inconsiderate enough to pull away the plank and draw up the rope. Pity to have to waste a bullet on him. I advise you not to move. You can see as well as a bat. It's been in here 2 days. I said not to move.
Get back in there! Get back or I'll shoot!
Philip!
What have you been waiting for? Not out of bullets, are you? Look, Anne, the Temple of Philae. Anne, listen to this. Rahotep, resting unto eternity under the shadow of the great king Amenhotep. This is as good as a map. The tomb is in the Valley of the Kings, near the tomb of Amenhotep. There was no sign of digging because the grave robbers broke in centuries ago. I'll get my informant out to Luxor right away and we
No, I've had enough. I want to leave here as fast as I can and never come back.
I know what you've been through, but this is no time to quit.
We should never have started. There's been nothing but heartache and pain. First my father, then the others. Now Philip.
He deserved everything he got.
I keep telling myself that. If I hadn't forced him to leave his work and come along, he might never have done anything wrong. How can we judge him, Mark?
Oh, I get it. We're sinners. We have to pay for it by carrying the guilt of the world around on our shoulders.
Oh, I don't want it to be that way. Do you think we can base happiness on so much unhappiness?
Not as long as you're so self-centered. Talk about all the others. The real trouble is you've lost faith and you're not honest enough to admit it. You'd rather pretend there's something strange or supernatural about the whole thing and run away. Well, you're not going to. I almost told you I don't like to start a job unless I know I can finish it. Well, I'm going back to the Valley of the Kings, and you're going with me. Sit there and think about that.
Lunch?
You'll have my fist for lunch if you don't follow orders. We're down to bedrock in this ditch. I told you to pull the men out.
Orders cancelled, Mudir.
Cancelled? What do you mean?
Mark, I told him to widen it. I don't know why, but I have a feeling about this ditch.
Get the men working on the new soundings, 10 meters apart.
It looks like the top of a stone stairway, sir.
Abdullah, get a crew of men down here right away.
Mark, are you sure it's Rahotep?
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. We're there all right.
Come on, let one of us go in with you. We'll grow last.
Look, gentlemen, going into a tomb for the first time's a little like walking on eggs. You don't even dare look at the stuff too hard or it'll fall apart. The story's waited 3,000 years. Another half an hour won't matter.
Good luck, Mudir.
Thanks, Abdullah. Must be the tools the grave robbers used to get in. 18th dynasty, broke in over 3,000 years ago.
The box we found. It must have been on this stand.
Can you think of anything that'd fit in there?
The gold statuette.
Let's hope they didn't get to the burial chamber. They didn't leave much, did they? Only what they couldn't carry.
There still may be some mention of Joseph.
Rahotep, ruler of Upper and Lower Egypt, and of all the earth till the sands meet the sky.
That's all. Mark, look. The sun god. The jackal. The snake. The ram. Rahotep didn't believe in only one god. We won't find any reference to Joseph in here.
We've still made an important discovery. Doesn't mean a thing to you, does it?
No.
The only thing that matters is proving you were right.
Proving my father was right.
I've never seen it to fail with self-centered people. They always have some noble-sounding excuse for themselves. The old boy beat us to it a few thousand years, but when he swung this door open, the wall caved in on him. It was planned that way so that any grave robber who got to that door wouldn't live to get to the next one. Yeah, there it is. There's a door here, all right.
But, Mark, that may be the same kind of trap.
No, not a chance. This door's been cut out of solid rock. All we gotta do is find a pivot point. You all right?
Yes. Mark, the wall paintings. I've never seen any like these.
No hawks, no snakes, no jackals. Because Rahotep did believe in one god. That's why he planned this hidden room. He was afraid that Egypt would go back to its old ways. He wanted to be sure there'd always be a record of what he believed in. He who came from the east as a slave stood by the right hand of the Pharaoh and saved Egypt during the 7 years when the corn did not grow.
7 years famine. It's Joseph.
Well, you still think we never should have started?
I'm sorry I ever doubted it, Mark. I never will again.
You talk about the dead past. Can't You'll be very dead when a little piece of granite can reach out of the past and touch the present.
And the future. The future.